to license it.
Meep, meep.
Hi everybody, and a warm welcome back to Maple Leaf Matchbox Makeovers. I'm Andrew, and on the bench today is going to be my 3-month backlog of Amazon and eBay packages that I've been waiting for a long time. But before I show you my mail haul, let me say another big thank you to my growing number of subscribers. I passed 300 a couple of days ago. That's small potatoes for most of my colleagues out there, but it's a mini milestone for me, and I think it's absolutely fantastic that people from around the world have found my channel and have become regular viewers. I really love to read your comments with tips and helpful suggestions, so keep those coming. Give this video a thumbs up too, and if you haven't already, press the subscribe button. It's free, and be sure to tell me where you're watching from. So the short backstory of this mail haul video is this. I come from Canada originally, but now I live and work in Switzerland. And many of us in Switzerland keep an international mailing address just across the border in Germany, because Amazon and eBay don't deliver to Switzerland. It's a non-EU, non-European Union country. But Germany's only 10 minutes away, so it's really not an inconvenience for me. The problem is this: the Swiss-German border has been closed for these past 3 months due to the COVID-19 shutdown. And I just started this YouTube channel in March, and then the lockdown started. I already had a workbench stock with the standard gear for home fix-ups, but being new at restoring die-cast cars, I needed lots of new precision tools that are unique to the hobby. And I know it looks like a lot, but if you went to Walmart once a week for 3 months, you'd probably acquire about the same amount of stuff, especially if you're just starting out like I am. And I'm no expert at this yet, far from it. But here's a look at what I've decided I really need to do a fair job of restoring these little cars. So here's a behind-the-scenes look at my hobby bench and the much-anticipated and long-awaited tools and supplies that should keep me going for a long time. Paints might be the first thing that come to mind when you think of a makeover hobby, and I was totally out of almost everything, and I had been using rattle cans for the last 3 months predominantly, and so I ordered a couple more in mostly metallic colors. Here's a couple of the Tamiya surface primers, 2 in white and 1 in gray. And these are going to run out at some point, so that's the part you need to restock. British Racing green. My apologies to those Brits who know what it looks like. I've tried to mix it up a couple times and got close, but probably failed. There's some clear coat for the end. Couple of fluorescent colors. I like to put those on the Lamborghinis because you can get a little wild when you go Italian. And this is a set of Vallejo. I used the smaller ones, and I thought it was pretty small in 17 milliliters, so these are 100 in refills. And I've seen a lot of you using these Tamiya paints, and I've written down the code numbers: X18 and flat black, XF1, and there's just red, X7. Those are a little bit bigger, so that should last me for a while. And another tip I picked up by watching some of the experts is just some black wash to highlight maybe some shot lines in the car. And I also got a selection of very small, but they go a long way in an airbrush, metallic paints in various colors. And I don't know that I'll try mixing those, but maybe a shot of paint thinner when I use those. I'll have to experiment. I already have an airbrush. I just didn't have a lot of airbrush paints. That's why many of the early cars have been done with spray cans. So I'm pretty well set up for paints now. There's the airbrush. It's due for a real good cleaning to get going again. And I'm going to need to practice. That's a skill that I really haven't applied much over these first 50 cars. And I want to learn that and improve. Paintbrush cleaner, and there's some in German, all of my supplies from Switzerland and Germany. And this is Farbabweiser. It's paint stripper in a gel form. If you've been watching, you know that I was right out of that. And here are some of the precision tools that I thought I needed. Have you ever thought, I wish I had an extra set of hands? Well, this is what it's called, helping hands. That might hold one of the little cars while I do some gluing or painting on it, and it frees me up. And some fine dental tools to pick out some paint or move some small pieces around. That's all for precision work. Fowler is a brand name that's popular with modelers. This is a pair of side cutters, and of course I had side cutters in my toolbox, but they were larger, more cumbersome for these small 1/64 scale jobs. Some rotary tool attachments for buffing and grinding, and this is a set of drill bits. And if you have a look at these closely, you'll see that they're centering, self-centering drill bits. So that means you're always going to hit dead center when you drill out these rivets. It's not too hard to go a little bit sideways and blow out one of those posts, so that should help a little bit. And a viewer comment a couple of cars ago was, hey, you got to get yourself a pin vise. This is a handheld drill with really small drilled bits. For instance, you want to add some side view mirrors to a little sports car. You don't want to use a 20-volt power drill. That'd make a mess. You use a little pin vise and do it by hand. This is a nail punch. Sometimes the rivet has a little bit of a bump on it, and this one has a spring-loaded impact. So you give it a little push and then kaboom, make a little dimple for your drill bit to get started. This is a very small tapping tool. And I have a supply of self-tapping screws that I've been making use of, but I also have a lot of regular screws that I'll need to tap a post for. Burr tools. If you ever find yourself needing to chew away a little bit of metal and enlarge a wheel well or take off a spoiler, you'd use that. And I thought this was absolutely essential. It's a small handheld benchtop vise. Adjustable, of course. So you put the car in there and hold it down, and now you can drill without putting it into the larger bench vise, and I think that'll be fun. Very useful. It's a 9-volt power supply with a positive and negative connector, and can you guess what I'm going to experiment with this summer? I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos. That's how I've learned my craft. And I'm going to try some zinc and nickel plating. I've got one more week of work and then a 6-week summer holiday. There's a still shot of somebody doing an online tutorial. So I'm going to make up some solution and practice that. This is a jeweler's saw with the really fine blades for cutting gold, which I do not have any of, but it should be able to cut through a little die-cast car. Extra blades. And this is called a fretboard that you attach to the bench and then place the car, and this gives you room to move the new jeweler's blade in and out of the car. Very small, very light. Consumable supplies, much like paint, are things that you will eventually run out of. The tools you own, you pay for it, you have them for life, if you take care of them. Don't break them, don't lose them. But these are supplies that you'll run out of. So I've got some putty, for light patch-ups, I've got some JB Weld to do some heavy work. Tamiya masking tape. I've been using regular masking tape, but this has a little more flex to it, and you can conform it to some body lines. It's the Faller, brand name again, and I like glues with a needle applicator, as this one has. Modelers will know the small tubing is to hold axles if you're raising or lowering the car. And from China, a selection of all different sizes of styrene rods. Maybe you want to make a roll bar or a luggage rack on top of your rally car. I'll use the styrene. Tamiya, brand name from Japan, has weathering powders to age the look of the car. And I don't mind working with fine paint brushes, but these are paint pens with very fine tips in different colors for highlight, tail lights, side indicators, and new replacement liquid chrome pens, also with very fine tips. I've been using a wider tip. Rhinestones. What? I have found that on certain cars, not all cars, you can use these as headlights. They're flat on one side, and a little bit of glue will apply them and look much more realistic than just a paint job. And I've been using clear water slide decal paper, and it doesn't print white, your inkjet printer. So this is a blue background, and that should give me much more flexibility. I like to make and print my own decals. And one of my biggest challenges so far with no backup supplies is finding the right wheels. I've had to refurb almost every set of wheels that I've used so far. And this was a purchase that they take a long time to come, and you know, this is not the cheapest part. Kind of still on the search for the best price, probably coming from China, but then the quality is suspect, and you can wait 3 months for them to arrive. This is from a dealer in the UK, and they came very quickly. I just had to wait this long time to pick them up. And on the topic of power tools, you think that's overkill for a hobby? Well, I need a double grinder on my bench anyways for sharpening gardening tools and shovels, and I split my own firewood, so I need one for that. And I thought I'll get a buffing wheel and some paste that you see at the bottom by my lamp, and that might do a nice job. And the most anticipated of all tools is the Dremel rotary tool. Hallelujah. I got it out immediately, and I like to use this extension piece so that it's much lighter and easier to use. You put the attachment at the end of that, and I am excited to give it the first workout, because look at what 49 cars does to your wire brush. And this is a Dremel workstation. It's a benchtop. It's quite light, actually, and very unique. You put the Dremel in there, it will attach down, actually screws in tight, and there's a lever up and down, so it's a little drill press, and all kinds of bars and levers. You can turn this perpendicular, and now put a sanding attachment on the end, and your hands free. Again, the Dremel is firmly held in place, so you might see that in some upcoming videos. Buffing, polishing, drilling. Keep your regular attachments up top there, and it will actually has a hook at the very top. You hang the Dremel on it, and I can use it with the extension. Put the little portable vise under there with a car locked in, and drill away. And now that I've got a very good supply of small paint bottles, here's a paint bottle holder, and it'll hold some brushes. So I'm going to have to get some glue out and put that together myself. It's quite light. It's not all that robust, but once it's set up and put off to the back of the bench, it's not going to get moved around very much. And I'm just kind of a organization freak, and so that satisfies my OCD-ness. And here's a very special item that some would consider to be a luxury item, but for me, it's a necessity. Can you guess what that is? It's a microphone set up with a spit guard. Are you lonesome tonight? Thank you very much. I have lost 75% of my hearing. I'm legally deaf in the country of Switzerland. When I'm doing a voiceover, I really can't tell myself if the jazz music is too loud or too soft, and this is going to help me to mix the sound of my voice and the music. So I hope that will help me produce a better video for you. And I'm sorry if it's ever been a distraction up until now. So that's it. That's my new stuff, and you can see that I'm fully into this new hobby now that I just started in March. I'm a car guy, and a little boy again. I played with Hot Wheels growing up, and now I'm fixing them up, and I'm having a great time. Thank you again for joining me and making regular visits to Maple Leaf Matchbox Makeovers. The next video I'm going to upload is going to be part 2 of the mail haul, and that's the cars that I have acquired by ordering just 2 big lots on eBay, and they also were waiting for me to be picked up these last couple of days. And I'll get to work on this next one and upload it and give you another thank you for all the love that you've shown to me and the support and the encouraging words. I really do appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing you again next time. It's coffee time.